Hey everyone. Today we're diving into the game-changing book Atomic Habits by James Clear. Stick around as we uncover its powerful insights. Let me ask you, what positive changes are you aiming for in your life? Maybe you want to start meditating daily, learn a new language, become a skilled photographer, or run a marathon. Whatever your goal, we all know that just deciding to make a change doesn't guarantee success. Simply saying you'll meditate every day doesn't mean you'll instantly become a Zen master, or declaring you'll run a marathon doesn't mean you'll suddenly turn into an elite athlete. It just doesn't work that way. In this summary, we'll reveal the secrets to making meaningful changes in your life without drastic overhauls or reinventing yourself. You'll see that by making small, consistent tweaks to your behavior, these actions become habits, leading to remarkable results. Are you ready? Subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. All right, let's dive into the first subject of Atomic Habits, and that is the importance of small habits. Small habits can have a surprisingly profound impact on your life. Picture this: a ship setting sail from Copenhagen bound for Oslo. The captain charts the course and sets off in the right direction. But imagine that just before departure, the captain adjusts the course by a mere 1 degree, a tiny, almost unnoticeable change. At first, the ship's path seems only slightly altered, and no one on board notices. However, as the journey progresses across the sea, this small deviation becomes increasingly significant. Instead of docking in Oslo, the ship ends up in Gothenburg. Why share this? Because, like the ship's course, small changes in our lives often go unnoticed. These tiny adjustments don't make an immediate impact. If you're out of shape today and you go for a 20 to 30-minute walk, you won't suddenly be fit tomorrow. Similarly, if you indulge in a chocolate bar now, you won't gain weight overnight. But if you repeat these behaviors day after day, your decisions will accumulate into significant results. If you eat chocolate every day until the end of the year, you will gain weight. Conversely, if you walk for 20 to 30 minutes every day, you will eventually become fitter and healthier. Even though the changes might not be noticeable at the moment, you've likely already realized that small habits, whether good or bad, will have a major impact on your life. Though you may not see the impact in real time, you'll recognize the results of your habits after some time has passed. Many people face this common issue. Take, for example, someone who wants to lose weight. They hire a personal trainer and diligently follow the advice for a month, but when they don't see significant changes, they get discouraged. If this happens to you and you feel disheartened by the lack of visible progress, my advice is to focus on perfecting your daily routine rather than on the immediate results. Imagine you're learning to play the piano. At first, your progress might seem slow and the pieces you play might sound clumsy, but if you practice every day, even for just 30 minutes, your skills will gradually improve. You won't become a concert pianist overnight, but with consistent effort, you'll notice significant improvement over time. Similarly, if you're trying to build a new habit, like reading more books, start by reading a few pages each day. Initially, it might not seem like much, but as the days turn into weeks and months, you'll find that you've read several books. The same principle applies to personal finances and investments. Let's say you start investing a small amount of money each month. At first, the growth might seem insignificant, but over time, with consistent contributions and the power of compound interest, your investments will grow substantially. When progress seems slow, think of it like planting a garden. You won't see the flowers bloom immediately, but with regular watering and care, your garden will eventually flourish. Focus on the daily actions that contribute to your long-term goals, and trust that these small, consistent efforts will lead to significant changes over time. Moving forward to the next topic of Atomic Habits, that is habit formation. So, you might be wondering, how can I set myself on that path? Imagine stepping into a chilly room and immediately reaching for the thermostat to warm things up. This automatic action is a habit of behavior repeated so frequently that it becomes second nature. Habits like these shape our daily routines, from tying your shoelaces to checking our phones. They hold immense power over our lives. But how exactly are habits formed? In the early 20th century, psychologist B.F. Skinner explored this question. He placed pigeons in a box with a lever that, when pressed, dispensed food. Initially, the pigeons pecked around randomly, Eventually, they discovered that pressing the lever resulted in a food reward. Skinner repeated the experiment multiple times and observed that the pigeons quickly learned to press the lever consistently. This experiment highlighted a crucial insight. Behaviors that lead to satisfaction, like food for the pigeons, tend to be repeated until they become automatic. Modern research has built on Skinner's findings, revealing that habits consist of 4 key elements: the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. First, there's a cue that triggers you to act. For example, entering a cold room signals that you need warmth. Then comes the craving to change your current state, from cold to warm. Next is the response or action, which is adjusting the thermostat. The final step is the reward, the comfort and satisfaction of feeling warm and cozy. All habits follow this process. If you're accustomed to reading a book before bed, the cue might be the end of your evening routine, and the craving is to unwind. The response is to pick up your book, and the reward is the relaxation and enjoyment it brings. All right, another crucial aspect to consider is understanding how habits work when building new ones. Let's dive into how to develop good habits that can transform your life. Building new habits requires clear cues, meaning a solid plan of action. Imagine you want to start a daily meditation practice. You have a meditation app and a quiet space, but you struggle to make it a daily habit. Every morning you think, "I'll meditate later," but the day slips by without you finding the time. Now that you understand the secret to building a habit, you can use it to your advantage. In this case, you want the cue to be impossible to ignore. Instead of keeping your meditation cushion in a closet, place it in a spot where you'll see it first thing in the morning. By making your cue visible and impossible to overlook, it will be easier to turn your intention to meditate into a habit. Changing your environment to put your cues front and center will help. But if you want to refine your cues even further, you can use what's called implementation intention. And what is this, you might ask? Well, when it comes to good habits, many of us are vague or erratic with our intentions. We say, "I'm going to eat healthier," or "I'm going to start meditating," and simply hope it happens. Implementation intention helps us move beyond just intention. Doing it intentionally gives you a clear path of action and helps you establish when and how you'll create the habit you want to cultivate. Okay, back to the meditation example. Instead of telling yourself you're going to meditate this week, change the script and say, "Every morning, right after I brush my teeth, I'm going to sit on my meditation cushion and meditate for 10 minutes. In addition to this, don't forget to leave your meditation cushion in plain sight, right where you'll see it. By making your cues visible and impossible to miss, and by setting a clear plan of action, you can break bad habits and create new ones that will positively change your life. The same principles apply to financial literacy and budgeting. Imagine you want to get better at managing your money and avoid unnecessary spending. You have a budgeting app and a clear financial goal, but you struggle to stick to your budget. Every month you think, "I'll start budgeting next week," but your expenses keep piling up. To build a habit of budgeting, make your cues impossible to ignore. Instead of keeping your financial documents hidden away, place them in a visible spot where you'll see them regularly. Set a specific time each week to review your finances, like every Sunday evening after dinner. By making your cues visible and setting a clear plan of action, you can develop good financial habits that will help you manage your money better and avoid spending it the wrong way. By the way, if you're enjoying the video and want more book summaries, let me know by leaving a comment below with the name of the book you'd like me to summarize. All right, moving on to the next topic of this book summary: breaking bad habits. You can eliminate bad habits by making it harder to reward yourself for them. We've already discussed that good habits start with a clear cue and an easy-to-do action. But if you want to break a bad habit, you need to reverse the process. That is, you need to make it less obvious and less accessible. Consider the example of someone trying to cut down on their late-night snacking. If you keep unhealthy snacks in easily accessible places, you're more likely to indulge. Instead, try storing them in hard-to-reach spots or not buying them at all. Replace them with healthier options like fruits and nuts, which you can keep in plain sight. This way, you make the unhealthy habit less convenient and the healthier choice more accessible. Imagine you've had a long day and come home wanting to unwind by scrolling through social media, just like every day. But this time, when you pick up your phone, you find that the social media apps are deleted. You might then think, do I really want to reinstall the apps, or would I rather read a book instead? Now let's dive into a story that illustrates the impact of a bad habit on someone's life. Alex had always dreamed of becoming a renowned artist. His talent was undeniable, and his teachers often praised his unique style and creativity. However, Alex had a bad habit that held him back. He was addicted to social media. Every evening after a long day, he would come home and spend hours scrolling through his feeds, liking posts and watching videos. This habit consumed most of his free time, leaving little room for his art. One day, Alex received an email from a prestigious art gallery inviting him to submit his work for an upcoming exhibition. This was the opportunity of a lifetime, a chance to showcase his talent to the world. Excited, he planned to create a masterpiece that would impress the curators. But as days turned into weeks, Alex found himself procrastinating. Instead of working on his art, he continued to indulge in his social media habit. As the deadline approached, Alex realized he had barely started on his piece. Panic set in, and he tried to rush through the creation process. The result was a mediocre artwork that lacked the passion and detail of his usual work. Unsurprisingly, his submission was not selected for the exhibition. Reflecting on his failure, Alex understood that his bad habit had cost him a golden opportunity. Determined to change, he decided to delete his social media apps and replace his evening routine with reading art books and practicing his craft. Over time, Alex's focus and productivity improved, and he eventually achieved the recognition he had always desired. This story highlights how bad habits can hinder personal growth and success. By making a habit less accessible and less rewarding, like Alex did with social media, it's possible to break free and pursue one's true passions. Now let's delve into something that might not have crossed your mind, but is incredibly important. Your habits reflect your identity. This brings us to the next topic in our book summary. The real reason habits matter isn't just that they help you achieve better results, but because they can transform your sense of identity and your perception of who you are. Many people try to change their habits by focusing on what they want to achieve. For example, someone might say, I want to save more money. But the most lasting habit changes happen when you focus on who you want to become, not just what you want to achieve. The goal shouldn't just be to save money. It should be to become a financially responsible person. The goal shouldn't be just to write a journal. It should be to become a writer. This shift in mindset is crucial. When your identity aligns with your habits, it becomes much easier to maintain those habits over the long term. Every action you take is a vote for the person you want to become. If you decide to save a small amount of money each week, you're casting a vote for being financially responsible. If you decide to write a paragraph each day, you're voting for yourself as a writer. Every small behavior counts because it's related to your identity. So instead of focusing solely on immediate results, concentrate on who you want to become. Ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be? And then start taking those small daily actions that support that identity. Over time, these actions will become habits, and these habits will solidify your identity. Every action you take shapes the person you aspire to be. For instance, if you choose to set aside a small amount of money each week, you're reinforcing your identity as someone who is financially savvy. Similarly, if you commit to writing a few sentences daily, you're affirming your identity as a writer. Each small action contributes to your overall identity. Instead of focusing solely on immediate outcomes, think about the kind of person you want to become. Ask yourself, what qualities do I want to embody? And then start incorporating small, consistent actions that align with that vision. Over time, these actions will evolve into habits, and these habits will solidify your identity. Now, let's explore the next topic of Atomic Habits, the power of environment. Changing your environment can have a much greater impact on your habits than just relying on willpower alone. The environment you are in profoundly influences your habits. For instance, if you want to improve your financial literacy and budgeting skills, it's much easier if you surround yourself with tools and resources that support this goal. Imagine you want to save more money and avoid unnecessary spending. If your wallet is always filled with credit cards, it's tempting to make impulsive purchases. Instead, try carrying only a limited amount of cash and leaving your credit cards at home. This small change in your environment can significantly reduce the temptation to overspend. Consider the example of someone who wants to become more financially responsible. They might start by setting up a dedicated space for managing their finances, complete with budgeting apps, financial books, and a calendar for tracking expenses. By creating an environment that supports their financial goals, they make it easier to develop and maintain good financial habits. If you want to spend less time shopping online, remove shopping apps from your phone or set specific times for browsing. Your environment not only influences you, but also the people around you. If you have friends or family members who share your financial goals, you're more likely to stay on track. This is because the people you surround yourself with also act as a kind of environment. If everyone in your circle is focused on saving and budgeting, you're more likely to adopt those habits as well. The next topic is all about making habits irresistible. How can we make good habits so irresistible that we simply can't stop doing them? This brings us to the next key idea. Make your good habits irresistible by associating them with something you enjoy. A technique called temptation bundling involves pairing a habit you need to do, but might not enjoy, with an activity you do enjoy. For instance, if you find managing your finances tedious but love watching your favorite TV show, you can tell yourself that you can only watch the show while working on your budget. This way, your brain starts to associate budgeting with something pleasurable, making the habit much easier to maintain. Another strategy is to surround yourself with visual and auditory reminders of why you want to adopt that habit. For example, you can place pictures representing your financial goals in visible places, or use apps that send you reminders and rewards every time you complete an activity related to your habit. Consider the real-life example of John, a young professional who struggled with managing his finances. He loved playing video games, but often found himself overspending on in-game purchases. To change this, he started using a budgeting app that rewarded him with points for staying within his budget. He could then use these points to unlock new levels in his favorite game. By associating budgeting with rewards, John found it easier to stick to his financial goals. In summary, making a habit irresistible involves pairing it with something you enjoy and surrounding yourself with reminders of why the habit is important. This approach not only makes the habit more enjoyable, but also reinforces your commitment to it over time. All right, moving on to the next topic of atomic habits, that is, consistency and adaptability. We've reached the final point of this summary, which is, for a habit to be truly effective, you need to maintain consistency, but also be flexible and adaptable. Consistency is crucial for habits to stick and persist over the long term. However, it's also important to understand that life is unpredictable and there will be days when you won't be able to follow your routine perfectly. Instead of beating yourself up over these days, it's best to accept them and adapt. Now, let's dive into a story that illustrates the importance of consistency and adaptability in someone's life. David was a hard-working man who had always prided himself on his ability to provide for his family. However, after losing his job due to company downsizing, he found himself in a dire situation. Despite his best efforts, he struggled to find new employment. Bills piled up, and there were days when he couldn't even afford to buy food. The stress and anxiety were overwhelming, and David felt like he was failing his family. Determined to turn things around, David decided to focus on building new habits that could help him navigate this challenging period. He started by setting a daily routine, waking up early, exercising, and dedicating several hours each day to job hunting. He also began learning new skills online to increase his employability. Consistency was key, and David stuck to his routine diligently. However, life's unpredictability soon tested his resolve. One day, his internet connection failed, making it impossible to apply for jobs or attend online courses. Another day, his car broke down, preventing him from attending a promising job interview. Instead of giving up, David adapted. He used the downtime to work on his resume and cover letters, and he reached out to friends and family for job leads and support. David's persistence and adaptability eventually paid off. He landed a part-time job that, while not ideal, helped him cover his basic expenses. This small victory boosted his confidence and motivated him to keep pushing forward. He continued to apply for jobs and improve his skills, and within a few months, he secured a full-time position that not only paid well but also offered growth opportunities. Through his journey, David learned the importance of maintaining consistency in his efforts while being flexible enough to adapt to unforeseen challenges. His new habits not only helped him overcome his immediate struggles, but also set him on a path to long-term success and stability. This story highlights how consistency and adaptability can help you navigate difficult times and achieve your goals. By maintaining a balance between the two, you can build and sustain effective habits that lead to long-term success. To sum up this book summary of Atomic Habits by James Clear, remember that atomic habits are small, daily actions that, when practiced consistently, can lead to significant life changes. It's not about instant transformation, but about gradual improvements that build up over time. Focus on who you want to become, not just what you want to achieve. Modify your environment to support good habits and make bad ones harder to maintain. Above all, stay consistent, be flexible, and adapt as needed while progressing towards your goals. I hope this summary has motivated you to take actionable steps towards enhancing your life. Now, if you found this video helpful, I highly recommend watching my next video, which is the perfect complement to this one. Do not hesitate to share this video. It may help someone. Subscribe to the channel and share your thoughts on today's video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.